Welcome to episode 17 of the I-70 Hot Tag. Tonight we have one of our biggest guests since the show's beginning. Tonight we sit down with second generation wrestler, AEW star Brock Anderson. He'll be at the Camelot Ballroom in Overland Park, Kansas for CSW Horsemen Country. He'll be teaming up with Ace Steel to take on the DWF champion Jeremy Wyatt and the Ice Pick Vic Capri. Don't go anywhere.
This is Ryan the Infinite Gingell.
This is Mighty Micah.
This is Luigi Primo.
WLW World Heavyweight Champion Derek Stone. And you are watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
And now, CR Media presents the I-70 Hot Tag with your host, Chaos Chase, and the real Josh Elliott.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Chase, aka CR Media. And like my good friend Josh said at the beginning, this is the 17th edition of the I-70 Hot Tag. As you know, you guys have seen, we've promoted it all week. We're going to be doing our interview with Brock Anderson, AEW Wrestler Brock Anderson tonight, promoting the upcoming Central States Wrestling Horsemen Country event. It's been a fun week, man. And we are almost at the end of it. Josh, how you doing tonight?
I am doing fantastic. We got a big one today, don't we?
We do. It's definitely going to be lots of fun. Get to that real quick. Brody, I appreciate you joining with us tonight, sir. See you're over there on the Twitch on CR Media 1988. I greatly appreciate that. Twitch is fighting me. I'm right there on the edge of average of 3 viewers, and they're trying to jerk me around. They're like, "No, Chase, you've got 2.7," and I'm like, "Ah!" So I'll have some really good streams where I'll have like 5 or 6 people in there, and I'm like, "This is it. I know I'm going to get that notification that we made affiliate on Twitch," and then they pull it out from underneath me, and I'm like, "You sons of bitches, I'm going to get you one of these days." Speaking of Twitch, if you guys don't know already, I would like to remind you that you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube at the tagline that is not Josh at the I-70 Hot Tag.
Nope.
I was trying to see if I could get through this thing no selling it, man, but I couldn't. You
can find me at the I-70 Hot Tag
That's right.
on all social media platforms. You can also find me at the real Josh Elliott. I'm on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. We'll give us a follow. There you go. There now you're looking better.
Yeah. But yeah, all the social media guys, if you haven't already, please greatly appreciate. Go hit that follow button, go hit that share button, hit that notification bell so you never ever miss anything from CR Media or the I-70 Hot Tag. We are slowly climbing that ladder, but we are getting there, guys. So now that we've got all that stuff out of the way, let's take a second to shout out last week's guest. Last week's guest, Gary F&J, the stiff Robo Ginger, who was having a little bit of technical difficulties. If you guys haven't seen the show or listened to the podcast, Gary was having a little bit of technical difficulties trying to get it to work on his phone. So Gary just said, "Screw it." He quick messaged. He slid into Josh's DMs, gave him the phone number, and we did the interview with Gary F&J on speakerphone. So It
Yes,
was
we did.
awesome. It was very awesome. And then Monday we had the privilege of sitting down with Niles Plonquet, and we got to know Craig, the gentleman behind Niles Plonquet, behind the wine connoisseur, which was really awesome. A good old Northwestern Missouri boy, farm boy, and then towards the end there, he got to turn on the jets with Niles Plonquet, and he did the whole, this is the I-70 hot tag in the best Niles Plonquet way he could. And we talked a little bit about his match with Luigi Primo at CSW Horsemen Country, which we're also going to talk about after we show this interview with Brock Anderson. For those that don't know, I'm a very long-winded person, and I'm trying to take advantage of that because I am waiting for everybody to trickle in before we start this interview. Yes, he making the best pizza. Luigi Primo does, and Luigi Primo is going to take on Niles Plonquet at CSW Horseman Country. We are very
big shout out to his wine company up in the St. Joe area, Windy Wine Company. He talked to in that interview with some interesting flavored wines. If you guys are wine advocates, you guys he has a peanut butter and jelly wine that he talks about. Brian J. Baby. Welcome in. Welcome in. Appreciate you joining, buddy.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you guys go to that listen. You can if you guys didn't watch it live, you can go back to our YouTube page or our Twitch page. But also we upload them on Anchor, Google Podcast, Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can get your podcasts. We are located there. So you're on the go listening. You can go back and watch any of our previous episodes.
Yes, absolutely. So, and I also wanted to mention, Niles did mention, Craig mentioned, that if you go to the winery and you mention the I-70 hot tag, he's got a little something special for you, whether that be a discount, or whatever. But he said he's got something special if you mention the I-70 hot tag. So definitely go out there. Go tell him your friends Chase and Josh from the I-70 hot tag sent you. Yeah, right.
There you go.
I wanted to do something cool like that with CSL. I might do that with like, hey, when you go online and buy your tickets for CSW Horseman Country, tell them your friends the I-70 hot tag sent you, and we'll give you a free sticker at the merch table.
There you go. I like it.
The stickers are going to be free anyway.
They don't know that.
So, guys, before we get into this, I want to remind everybody that this was a recorded interview. We are not going to do the interview with Brock Anderson live. There's various reasons for that. Constraints, and obligations that Brock had made it to where we had to do it recorded. But what we're going to do is we've got the video all rolled up, ready to play. We're going to hang out backstage and jump in the chat with you guys. And if you guys have any questions for us about the interview, ask away in the chat. We'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you. But yeah, I wanted to make sure when we were promoting the video that we never ever said that it would be live, because I didn't want to make that expectation and not be able to meet it. So
I do want to point that out too, is on the graphic. If you look at every one of our graphics for our guests, it says joining the show live. But if you look at every one we've posted with Brock, I took the live out. So it just says joining the show. So this is a pre-recorded interview with Brock. So we will just want to leave you guys know, we will leave the chat up onto the screen as we play this interview. So we do encourage you guys to continue chatting about the interview. We'll be in the chat with you guys. Also, I'm not sure what happened, But as we recorded this interview, everything was fine as we went through it. There was no issues. But when we started playing it back and started doing the editing, for whatever reason, at least during the first question, my video is extremely fuzzy, pixelated for probably a good minute and a half. After Brock's first question, he answers it. My video clears up, and it's good for the rest of the video. So just so you guys know, so you guys aren't thinking that's going to be like that the entire time.
No, it's only like that for the first 2 minutes, and I'm not a supernatural person. The only thing supernatural I believe in is the rapper. But if you are a supernatural person, there is something very demonic in the Elliott household, and you can see it in this video. So you'll see what I'm talking about. Give us about 10 seconds here, guys. We'll get this interview up and rolling. Okay.
Let's get this up. Let's do the intro video.
Okay, yeah, intro video. I like that.
Intro video. Let's do that first, then we'll play it.
All right.
Business from now on. I'm going to show you how I do business. When August 27th, I team up with the Andersons. I bring Brock Anderson as my partner. And Double A, the enforcer, Arn Anderson. And we make Kansas City Horsemen Country.
Coming to Central States Wrestling August 27th. Real simple. We're going to make it Horsemen Country.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Chase, aka CR Media. Over here to my left is my friend Josh, aka the real Josh Elliott. Josh, how you doing today?
Fantastic, man. Fantastic.
Right.
Got a good show for you today.
And below us, we have the Brock Anderson. Brock, how are you, sir?
Good. Thank you all for having me.
Absolutely, Brock. The pleasure is all ours, I assure you. Brock, we appreciate you joining in with us. For those who haven't heard probably 1,000 times by now, you're going to be here in Kansas City for Central States Wrestling on August 27th for Horsemen Country. A friend, Ace Steele, has pulled you in. You're going to take on Jeremy Wyatt and the Vic Capri in a tag team match in the main event. So we just want to ask you some questions, get an opportunity to show the Kansas City fans what they can expect when you come through town, okay?
Okay, shoot.
All right. So, Brock, we all know who Arn Anderson is, but tell us, who is Brock Anderson?
It's a good question. Brock Anderson's just a kid from Charlotte, North Carolina. He grew up playing sports. Grew up playing football, Little League Baseball, amateur wrestling. He's a kid who went to ECU, East Carolina University, who got a degree. But I think more importantly, he's a kid who grew up in a household where wrestling put food on the table, put a roof over our head. It dominated all the family discussions. We just eat, sleep, and breathe pro wrestling in the Anderson household. Simple as that.
Yeah. So, Brock, your first appearance in AEW was in June of 2021 in an episode of Friday Night Dynamite. Since then, you wrestled guys like Billy Gunn, Dustin Rhodes, FTR, Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson. The list goes on. So, what's it like? Tell the fans of the Kansas City area what's it like working in AEW.
Well, all those guys you just listed, and there's plenty more that you probably didn't say, like I think Kazarian, Jay Lethal, That's just a couple that you didn't even say. But all those guys, the one common factor is that it's been an absolute education. Whether they're standing across in the other corner or by my side, all those guys have light years more experience than me. And you can't get better in anything, not just this business, not just this sport, without learning from guys. Simple in that. I mean, but from that standpoint, it's been an absolute pleasure. Whether I won or lost, I learned something each time I stepped in the ring or across from the ring from one of those guys.
Absolutely. Brock, at what age did you know you wanted to be a professional wrestler?
So that's a funny question. You know, I grew up, I was born into it. Like, my dad was working for WCW when I was born. He retired when I was 6 months old. And then he immediately, when they closed down, transitioned to WWE, took a backstage role there. So when I was growing up, he was a backstage guy. He was a producer. But I still grew up around it. I would still go to all the matches. If they were local or drivable, he'd take us on loops. If they were like in Florida, we'd make a vacation out of it. We'd go to the loop, or we'd go to WrestleMania each week or each year. It'd be like a family vacation. So it was just normal to me. Like I said, we watched it every week. It was religion. But, you know, you grow up, when you're growing up, you want to be 8 different things. You want to be, you know, you want to be a cop one week. You want to be a firefighter the next. You want to be a football player. You want to be a baseball player. You want to be a wrestler one week. And then your mind just goes because you're a child. So I think the defining moment was WrestleMania 25. I was 12, I think. This is when those WrestleManias were starting to get really, really long. And they had a loaded pre-show, and, you know, by the main event, everybody's worn out. So I had like my PSP with me, my little gaming system. I'm 12. So it got to the point where I was like, I'm wrestling out, and I would sit there. If there was a match that didn't interest me, I'd be playing on the PSP. And I remember Shawn Michaels and Undertaker had, like, I was sitting there, I put the PSP down, and I watched every second of that match. And I was like, it clicked. I was like, hell with all that other stuff. This is what I want to do. I want to have that reaction one day, because they had the people in the palm of their hands. I was sitting there, a fan, watching it. And it was, you know, I think it's not controversial to say that that's one of the best matches of all time. And I think that moment right there is when I knew. I was like, this is what I want to do.
So that is amazing, Brock, because that's as soon as you said WrestleMania 25, I kind of thought in my head, I was like, I think I know where this conversation is going. So that is one of my favorite matches of all time.
Did you have a favorite? Did you have a favorite wrestler growing up?
Well, yeah, everybody, I think people just assume it's my dad. But like I said, he retired when I was 6 months old. So I only knew him as an ex-wrestler. I knew him from VHS tapes that we had. We had like a VHS stack. So I'd watch those. I knew he wrestled. But, you know, I might get a little flack for this because there's been so much specials and it's been covered. I was always a Shawn Michaels guy. HBK was my favorite. And I don't think that's controversial to say. I think he is the best in-ring performer of all time. And I know that's weird, especially because of my style. You know, I'm not throwing a bunch of super kicks around, but he was my favorite. I don't know why I can't put a finger on it, but I just knew that he was the best when he stepped in.
You will get no argument on this then, my friend. So
nope.
I don't. Yeah.
So Brock, if we're let's fantasy book for a second here. If
Okay.
you could have a one-on-one match with anybody throughout history, who would it be?
You know, that's such a loaded question, and I'd hate to leave anybody out. I'd have to sit down and think about it. So we'll go with the safe option, and I'll just go with Shawn, just because he's my favorite. But there's so many guys. There's so many guys from that 70s, 80s, 90s era. I mean, you can't just limit it to one.
No. So, and this is kind of a two-part question. So that was your one-on-one match. Let's take the enforcer Arn Anderson in his prime and Brock Anderson in a tag team, father and son duo. Who would be your dream tag team to face with your father?
I think this one's a little easier because I've already been in the ring with him twice with two different opponents. So we'll go for the trifecta. I think FTR, because they are the best tag team in the world today, if not ever. They're making a strong argument. They're having a hell of a summer right now. They're on fire. Yep. So I think me and the old man against FTR, just beating the hell at it. Four guys beating the hell at each other. I think that's the dream matchup.
That was I'll be honest with you, Brock. That was one of the matches that reeled in my head when I was writing that question down. So
those guys are so good, so good.
Yes, absolutely.
So Brock, you've been to Kansas City before with AEW. Have you had a chance to explore Kansas City? Do you have a favorite place to visit or eat?
So with our schedule, we usually get in whatever town we're in. We usually get in late Tuesday night, and then of course work all day Wednesday, and then fly out early Thursday. So unless you leave relatively early on Tuesday, you don't have a lot of ample time to see the city. But we did make it a point to get some barbecue because you got to. And there was, I looked up the spot. I was like, top rated barbecue joints in Kansas City. And this place, Joe's, comes up. And I'm like, all right, we'll go to that. And we pull up, and it's like hooked into a gas station. So I'm like, what is going on here? I'm like, all right, but it can't be lying. They were not lying. The brisket, the pork, all that. White bread, oh, so good. And I don't know what it is. I don't even, because I didn't know this was a thing, but between y'all and St. Louis, y'all have excellent chili. We make it a point to get it every time we're in Missouri.
Fantastic. Brock, it was announced not too long ago. There's going to be an event by Jim Crockett Promotions for Ric Flair's last match, and there's going to be a legacy match with you. You're going to be teaming up with Brian Pillman Jr., wrestling against Ricky Morton and Kerry Morton, who is Ricky Morton's son. Ricky Morton's going to be representing the Rock and Roll Express. And then Arn Anderson will be there, and he is going to be representing the Four Horsemen. So it's kind of the idea behind the legacy match. But I wanted to know if you could tell us and our viewers, what does it mean to have your father in your corner as you team up with another second-generation superstar and to face another legend and his son in this legacy match?
Well, as far as my dad being in our corner and just in my corner, not only in the ring but in life, it has been the highlight of this journey so far, because he was on the road. When they were running hard, he'd be home 2 days a week, and he'd sleep all day one day, and then he'd leave one day just to do something. So you can't ever get that time back, but I'm also not losing any more time. So having him there during this journey has been irreplaceable. As far as Brian tagging with me, we've had a couple like 5-mans or 3-mans with them, and just being in there and seeing how he moves. I'm like, all right, I've learned if he's hitting this, all right, I'm going to counter with this. And we're starting to learn each other's styles a little bit, starting to click a little bit, compliment. And it's really cool being in there, especially with the history between our dads being in the Horsemen. And I think he enjoys talking to my dad, just having my dad tell him stories about his dad that he might have not known. I think that's really enjoyable for him. So it's it's a really cool deal. As far as facing Kerry and Ricky, can you really say that you're a pro wrestler if you've never wrestled Ricky Morton? I mean, think about it. It's going
to be hard on those kids that are coming up here in the next few years after Ricky retires.
Oh, they're going to be cheated. So I'm glad I get that opportunity.
Absolutely.
And as far as Kerry, I've seen clips of Kerry, and he's got that same charisma. He's got that same flash. And who knows, you might be seeing the start of another chapter of the Morton Anderson saga. So I'm really looking forward to this match coming up. I've got goosebumps right now.
I will tell you what, Brock. All three of those guys, Ricky, your dad, Brian Pillman, are all guys that you could say that were so ahead of their time that it's almost not fair. If you stick your dad in the ring with guys like FTR, I don't think your dad would miss a beat.
No.
You stick Ricky Morton in the ring with Shawn Michaels or a Ricochet or any of those guys, I don't think Ricky misses a beat. You stick Brian Pillman in there with a guy like Seth Rollins, I don't think he misses a beat. I think Cody and Brian Pillman could tear down the house. A situation like that. So all three of those people involved in this legacy match were so far ahead of their time, and you see it with you, Junior, and with Morton's son as well.
I agree wholeheartedly with everything you just said. I agree.
So Brock, let's kind of start talking about, what you're coming to Kansas City for. Central States Wrestling presents Horsemen Country, August 27th. You're going to be aligning with Ace Steel, as we said. So kind of tell us, what your relationship is with Ace and why he picked you as a partner.
So we didn't really know. I personally didn't know a whole lot about Ace. I knew the name from early ROH. I always just knew the name Ace Steel just from, like I said, being engrossed in the business. You just know where people are, who they are. But I didn't know a whole lot about him. And when he came to AEW, he introduced himself to both me and my dad. And from there, we just would chit-chat, and I'd start picking his brain a little bit. I learned that he trained under Harley. And and then we would just keep talking. And I really appreciate his approach, his mentality, his logic to the sport, to the business. You can tell that Harley ingrained that old school mentality in him. And I think that's where we click, is because, even before I was in the business, my dad, just growing up, just instilled that just no nonsense, very basic, logical approach to this. And I think that's where we really click. And I enjoyed just seeing him every week and just talking to him.
So, Brock, I wanted to ask, how are you preparing for a match like this? Is it different than how you would prepare for a match in AEW?
No, same deal. No audibles on this one. The only difference with this one is that me and my dad are hired hands. So me and my pops don't know Vic, or we don't know Jeremy from Adam. But on a personal level, at least. But when Ace came to us with this dilemma and told us what had transpired, we made it personal right then and there, because he messed with one of our guys. He messed with one of the guys we see every week, one of the guys we talk with. So we took it upon ourselves to make it personal right there.
Absolutely. So, your opponents on the 27th is Jeremy Wyatt and Vic Capri, who are both, highly regarded in our area. Whether you're fans of them, whether you hate them, they're top dogs here in KC. Wyatt is the current DWF champion and kind of runs CSW at the moment. So at the last event, Vic Capri came in and interfered in Ace Steel's match. And quite frankly, Ace Steel should be wearing that title around his waist. So kind of tell us, what your thoughts are on your opponents, Jeremy Wyatt and Vic Capri.
So the only thing I knew about Jeremy Wyatt and Vic Capri was, prior to this whole thing, is that Ace, in those casual conversations, would just say, these guys are the best. We've been friends for years. He'd just drop them. He's like, these guys are so good. Watch their matches, learn from them. And then just on a dime, his tone changed. And I think for two guys, I think the verbiage you said was highly regarded. I understand that they're stalwarts in that area, stalwarts in that region. They're proven, but it's hard to hold guys in a high regard that not only cheat their friend of a title, but also double spike pile drive them to do so? I mean, would you hold those guys in high regard in your mind? So that's where I think that's where me and the old man stand on this.
We are very excited to see Brock and Arn Anderson come to Kansas City to team up with Ace Steel. Jeremy Wyatt is the TWF champion. His tag team partner, Vic Capri. Jeremy is, we've been fans of Kansas City wrestling for a long time, Brock, and Jeremy is, he's a disease, so to speak. He sticks around for a while. He's hard to get rid of. So I wanted to ask, can we expect to possibly see you again in CSW in the future?
I think what we got to do right now is just take care of the business at hand, worry about those two guys, and right the wrong that they did to our boy Ace. That's what we're focused on right now. We'll see how that goes, and we'll see where the ball rolls after. But right now we're focused on those two guys, two of Ace's alleged friends, and we're going to come back. I think they jumped a guy not knowing that he was going to bring two guys that ain't scared to jump back. And I think they're going to learn that August 27th.
I like it.
Fantastic. So Brock, is there any other future dates other than the Ric Flair last match that you want to promote to our viewers?
Other than the one SummerSlam weekend, StarCast, we got the following day will be in Salisbury on the 28th after the match with Wyatt and Capri. The next day will be in Salisbury, North Carolina. That's the only one I got coming up. Other than that, no, nothing. You can still watch Dynamite on Wednesdays, still watch Rampage on Fridays. You can, my social medias, Instagram, Brock Anderson AEW, all lowercase, and then Twitter is B Anderson AEW. Other than that, just ready to rock and roll.
Can you tell our viewers where we can buy some Brock Anderson merchandise?
ShopAEW.com and Pro Wrestling Tees. You can find them there.
Fantastic.
All right, Brock. That'll do it for this whole thing. I think kind of how you saw on the lineup there. We always like to ask every guest that we interview to end with saying, "This is Brock Anderson, and you're watching the I-70 Hot Tag."
Okay, no problem. This is Brock Anderson, and y'all are watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
Like it.
Love it.
All right.
Appreciate your time, Brock.
Bump, bump, bump. So that
There it
is it. Yep. We like I said, guys, the only thing that would have made that cooler is if we could have done it live. And like I said, unfortunately, that wasn't in the cards. But we were very fortunate enough to be able to do what we did. That was an awesome experience. To kind of pull the curtain back, we had an AEW PR guy in the backstage area when we were doing that interview. He was super cool. He didn't say anything. I kind of like every single time I thought about veering off of my questions, like I started talking about, Kerry Morton and Ricky Morton and that whole thing of how, the Ricky Morton reminded me of Kerry Morton and Brian Pillman Jr. reminded me of his dad. And how all their fathers were all ahead of their time. I was waiting for the AEW PR guy to be like, "Wrap it up, fat boy," but he didn't say anything. So I was super excited about it. So
yep.
I thought about doing it longer, but I was like, no, I don't want to push my luck here. So, Brody, I appreciate that, man. Like I said, we always promote live. So, and Josh mentioned that on this Brock interview, he didn't put live on any of his graphics. I still did on mine.
Yep.
So
I took it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Brian, he was extremely cool. I mean, everybody we've interviewed has been awesome, and Brock was no different. I mean,
Yep.
laid back, cool guy, just like everybody else. So, just one of us, and it was cool to chat with him.
Yeah, I and Josh and I have kind of talked about this, and I won't go into it too much, but we've always kind of, we're down to earth. And I've always thought to myself that I can be friends with anybody. So far nobody has big timed us, and if anybody does big time us, then I'm not really interested. So, and Brock was definitely not that type. He was super cool. He didn't even mention the guy that he didn't even mention the PR guy. So the PR guy kind of just, he came in, said hi, and then went backstage. So that was pretty cool.
Yep.
Special shout out to the AEW PR department to let Brock do that. That was awesome. They also gave us permission to use any of the footage on YouTube for the promotion video. So shout out to AEW for that.
Yep. Big shout out to the CSW guys too. Joe, Michael, everybody who, Trinity, all you guys at CSW.
Obviously.
Obviously.
It wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have. Yeah, none of that would have happened without Joe, without Trinity, without Strider. Yeah, none of that would have happened. So, Horsemen Country wouldn't be happening without those guys. So,
absolutely.
Speaking of Horsemen Country,
we have
that's right.
We have a lineup of guests coming up in August. We are not going to go to a break. We normally go to a break after our interview. Since that was a recorded interview, we're just going to continue going. We do have a short clip that I want to show you, and it's going to be advertising our August shows, which is basically all Horseman Country, with the exception of one, and you'll see the one, but everything else is all dedicated to CSW Horseman Country. So we're going to play that. It's about a minute or so long. We're going to come back, and we're going to break down CSW Horseman Country. Don't go anywhere. There you have it, guys.
Very, very excited about all that. I don't know if y'all saw it or not, but the Mile High Magnum, Dak Draper, August 18th. Super, super excited about that because, excited for Joe. Excited for Arjun. Super excited for Billy Starks. Although Billy Starks is the wild card. She is not going to be at CSW Horseman Country, but we are so excited to interview Billy Starks. So yes, Josh is very excited.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, could not be more excited. Every guest that's coming up, guys, it's gonna be fantastic. Beer City Bruiser is on this Monday on the Pit Stop. That's our next guest. So you saw him, and your son was a big fan of his at last event, wasn't he?
Yeah, that is correct. My son is a huge Beer City Bruiser fan. He was very upset that Niles Planquet beat the Beer City Bruiser. So
That's funny.
My 10-year-old son is convinced that beer is way better than wine. So
It's okay just to yell beer.
yep. Well, it's crazy because like when Beer City Bruiser comes out to the ring and he's wrestling, he'll get the crowd involved, and it's like the what chants, but instead of what, the crowd chants beer. So that's what Demetrius was sitting there every single time he hit a punch. Beer, beer, beer. So
I like it.
Yep. I don't hate it. So guys, the remainder of this show, we are going to be breaking down CSW Horsemen Country match by match. And Josh and I will kind of give you some backstories to it to kind of get you ready, man. Because here we are, August 4th. I mean, it's less than 3 weeks away now, my friend.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more, maybe a little over 3 weeks. So, but we are right there. So, Josh, you,
yeah.
are we starting?
We're gonna start from the bottom up.
Okay. Cool. I'm glad you clarified.
Yeah, we'll do the main event last, but we talked about it last week, guys. Luigi Primo is going one-on-one with Niles Planquet. That was the match that the I-70 hot tag. We announced that on our show a couple weeks ago. As you know, we are the official podcast of CSW Horsemen Country. And we are excited to see this match because Niles came on last week. We talked about it. We did talk to Luigi a few weeks ago. And I don't know. Am I frozen? Or I think Chase is frozen. But anyway, I'm going to keep talking. We've got Luigi came on and talked about his Niles' interference in his match at CSW Strapped. Niles came in with Belvedere, distracted him, and he ended up losing the match to he had a triple threat match against Dan the Dad and the Big Strong Boy. So Ethan Price ended up getting the win in that match. So they finally got the match set, and Niles is going to go one-on-one versus Luigi Primo. So it's going to be wine versus pizza in that match. So should be a hell of a match. And Chase is back. What's going on, buddy?
I don't know, man. I think we're having a little bit of I'm having technical difficulties tonight. I have no idea. That's the second time that's happened, and it always seems to be like when I'm trying to share my screen, which is weird. So maybe I should just not share my screen. But are we still talking about the Luigi Primo and Niles Planquet match?
Yeah. I kind of just ended it. They got Luigi's looking to get revenge on Niles for interfering in his match at Strapped, and it's wine versus pizza. So Niles told us why wine is better than pizza, and contrary, Luigi a couple weeks ago before this match was announced told us why pizza was better. So we're going to find out on August 27th. So, and I think Chase is frozen again. So we're going to keep on going. The next match on the rundown here is the Big Strong Boy, Ethan Price. And he is going one-on-one with the Quad Father, Camaro Jackson. And
we're just not doing this. I'm just not going to do the picture. I'm just not going to do the picture. I was trying to. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't share. Just talk. No sharing.
Yeah. God.
Talk about this Ethan Price Camaro Jackson match. You got this one.
The Quad Father against a Big Strong Boy. The Quad Father's gonna whoop that ass. That's all I gotta say about that, man. Ethan Price, very talented young man. Brody, when it's live, man, all you can do is laugh. Like, I mean, I could get mad and throw my brand new laptop that I just bought like a couple months ago, but what's that going to do? So I'm just going to laugh about it. It's funny. It's live. What else are we going to do? Um, so, yeah, Camaro Jackson, Godfather. This is a mismatch, and unless Ethan Price, the big strong boy, I mean, there ain't nothing. His mom can tuck him in, make him a warm glass of milk before bed. He can get up and eat a big breakfast, get some Wheaties, and his mom can, pull out his best pair of underwear. And, but I mean, the fact remains that when he's staring across the ring from the Quadfather, this is going to get ugly. So, like I said, unless Ethan Price pulls something out, it's going to be a bad day for that young man. So, I'm super excited for it. The next match, Josh.
Yeah, man, we got the Beer City Bruiser against Arjun Singh, who are two, as you saw in the video, two of the guests we're going to have on in the next week or so. Two very talented wrestlers. We saw Arjun Singh, I think the last time we saw him in CSW, and correct me if I'm wrong, was at our first event was No Turning Back. Is that correct? Or was he at he was at the last CSW event, correct?
No,
because you were there. Yeah. So Arjun Singh, and he wrestled Luigi Primo, super talented guy, and I think him and Beer City is gonna have a hell of a match. It's been a while since I've seen a Beer City Bruiser match. I wasn't at the Rise of an Outlaw when you were there, so I didn't get to see his match live. But I'm extremely excited to see it because these two guys are gonna just beat the hell out of each other. So I have no prediction on who's going to win that match, but these two guys are going to have a hell of a bout. So
I'm going to do these next two matches. Is that cool?
I did it a couple weeks ago. Absolutely.
Okay.
Tell
So,
us
so the first one, Anaya Howlett against SK Bishop. And then the next match after that, Hoodie Howlett versus Campbell Myers. So just to kind of break this down for you guys, you've got one of the youngest, hottest tag teams in Missouri right now, and the Premier. And the Premier, they're extremely talented, and they deserve all the praise that they could get. But I think right now we're in a position where these two young men have bitten off a little more than they can chew. Where we kind of saw that turn at No Turning Back in the street fight, and like Hoodie said, these young men are all full of piss and vinegar and real full of themselves. They've even dubbed themselves the most dangerous tag team, which sounds real familiar to another tag team that we love here in Kansas City. Then they came out, they aligned themselves with the most disgusting, vile, annoying used car salesman you could find. In fact, I think that it's actually an insult to used car salesmen to call Roscoe Leach that. But to align themselves with Roscoe Leach. And we had the situation where Hoodie came out and got a little aggressive, pushed down a CSW official, also threw a hat into the fans, hit a fan in the face. Got it, like I said, got a little aggressive. So Gil Rogers suspended Hoodie for 1 month, and so Anaya was by himself last month against Moonshine Mantel, and all was gravy. But those two guys, man, they can't help themselves. So it's one-on-one, and we're I mean, I don't even think we can put into words how this is going to go. But Anaya is going to take on SK Bishop, and Hoodie is going to take on Campbell Myers. And with Hoodie being suspended, and just coming back, I feel sorry for Soup. In fact, I think Soup is going to be a really good nickname for Campbell after Horseman Country, because I think our friend Hoodie Howlett is going to make some soup out of Cable Myers, and same with SK Bishop. You know, these two young men have booked themselves into a corner, and I think for good reason CSW has not made another tag team match, because I think you put the Howlets and the Premier in the ring together again. I think it's going to get very nasty and very violent. And we're going to get a small preview of it at Horseman Country. So that's about what I got. So
we saw what happened the last time they were in a tag match together. They were all over the Camelot Ballroom.
They
blood,
were. I got blood on me. I got blood on me.
Yeah, you did. You did. They were all over the place. They were all over.
So
don't stand a chance.
Yep. It's not even going to be the P-Boys. These are one-on-one matches. So like I said, I feel sorry for Campbell Soup, because like I said, it's been a while for Hoodie, and if you watch the interview with the I-70 Hot Tag and Hoodie a couple weeks ago, Hoodie's ready. There's no love loss. So
absolutely not. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I took those two matches. Josh, why don't you take the next one after that?
Absolutely. We got this match. I'm really excited for, because we just saw Mike Outlaw in a couple month span kind of rise up that CSW rank, and he took on Jeremy Wyatt, and at no turning back. Absolutely, Brian. No turning back. That was the event where Jeremy Wyatt had that a family emergency, so he kind of quote unquote escaped Mike Outlaw there, and then at Strapped he or was that at Strapped? I'm sorry, am I getting those wrong? Was that I'm not. Anyway,
Strapped. They went the distance.
That's right. Strapped they went the distance, and then
Rise of an Outlaw was no time limit.
Yeah, the no time limit. Yep. So, Mike
that's
Outlaw.
That's what happens when you skip CSW events.
I know. I shouldn't have done that. That was my bad.
I know. It's all right.
Anyway, so Mike Outlaw ends up at the beginning of Rise of an Outlaw losing to Wyatt, and that's kind of what turned the whole main event, and we'll get into that in a minute. So Outlaw fell just short of becoming DWF champion. And then you've got, on the other side of the ring, you got Luke Langley, the Smoking Ace, who we just talked to a couple weeks ago. Extremely talented, very eager to make a name for himself here in CSW. And these two guys are on the rise in all of our area, because you see what Mike Outlaw does all over our Kansas and Missouri, but in Central State specifically, he is, again, just fell a little bit short in against Wyatt, but wants to prove himself that he should not fall very far from that title picture. And Luke Langley, on the other hand, is like, hey, you know what? I should be there as well. And I think this match here is going to be a telltale sign of who might be next in line for that title. Either this match or the one you're going to talk about. There's two matches on this card where it's like, hey, there's no wrong answer between these two and the two that we're going to talk about next as who should be the next number one contender. So Luke Langley, the Smoking Ace, going to come out. Mike Outlaw, they're going to do battle and figure out who's the better man, and we're going to find out August 27th. So super excited there, guys. That's one of my top matches I've got check marked that I can't wait to see. So love Mike Outlaw, love Luke Langley. So should be good stuff. Bring down the house. Absolutely, Brian. Could not agree more.
Next match. Do you want to do this one and I'll do the main event, or do you want me to do this one and you'll do the main event?
It don't matter to me, man. I can do this one if you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead. Do
this Clash of the Titans. Clash of the Titans, first time ever, never been done before, never competed in a ring. as Chase said, the last time we kind of ran through this card, and since then I have too. We've tried to check.
Cannot believe it.
Could
I
not find a Moonshine Mantell versus Dak Draper match.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. And that's going back to, the NWL days when they were, Maverick and Dak Draper. Maverick didn't fight or wrestle Dak Draper. This is the first time ever, guys. And these two guys are behemoths and they are powerhouses. And like I said I posted it on Twitter when they first announced this match. This is going to be a clash of the Titans. Dak Draper, Moonshine Mantell, with, of course, the mouth of the Midwest, Greg Jovi. That's our name for him.
That's right. I like it.
Greg Jovi is going to be there in all of his leather jacket, open leather jacket self with Moonshine. So love Moonshine, but my best friend Dak is going to take him down. I don't think you're wrong, man. I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I think these two guys are gonna just. I can't wait for this, man. Like I don't. It's just gonna be a two giant men,
big
beating the shit out of
big
each other.
giant men slapping meat. Big meaty men slapping meat.
They're just gonna beat the living shit out of each other, guys. And
They
this is,
are.
I guarantee you, this is probably gonna end up. And I know this is the second to last match we're talking about. This is probably gonna be the mid-show the co-main event that happens just before the break. I think this is what's going to take us into the intermission, I think.
So, just to kind of let viewers know, because we got some viewers on Twitch that aren't real familiar with Dak Draper. Dak did some time. Dak is originally from Denver, Colorado. He's wrestled a lot here in Kansas City. Become a huge fan favorite in Kansas City. And he did some time in ROH, Ring of Honor Wrestling. For those that don't know, Dak is 6'5". He's a huge man. And for those that haven't seen Moonshine Mantell, let me tell you something. Brian, why would you do that? Anyways, don't do that. don't because now somebody's gonna Google Travis Tyler in NXT, and that is not Dak Draper. don't do that. I'm gonna tell Dak you did that, and I'm sure Dak will not appreciate his best friend doing that to him. For those who don't know Moonshine Mantell, I give Moonshine a lot of shit. I love being immersed in the story. When I'm at an event, I love booing the heels. I love cheering for the baby faces, all that stuff. But I am a huge Moonshine Mantell fan. And I have said countless times, and I'll say it again here. Moonshine Mantell, I don't think I've ever said it directly like this, because Moonshine Mantell he's almost my height. Like he's like, I'm 5'11", so I think Moonshine may be 6 foot. If Moonshine Mantell had 2 or 3 more inches, he would be main eventing. He would have main evented Los Angeles, or not Los Angeles, but Nashville in WWE. Moonshine Mantell has that look. He's a star. And like I said, the only thing I could think that the only thing I would tell you that is keeping Moonshine Mantell from a multi-millionaire is the fact that he's not 6'5". So these two guys, this is a marquee match. The fact that this is not the main event is let's take out this next main event we're going to talk about. This match, stop right here, is worth the price of admission. I'd pay 30. I know you're not wrong. Anyways, I know you're not wrong, Brian. but these two guys are stars. They're huge. Like I said, they're mammoths of men. If you didn't stand up next to Moonshine, you looked at Moonshine like on TV, he looks like a monster. He looks like he looks like he could stand next to Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Like that's what I mean. So in one of, I like to make jokes and I always talk about Doctor Strange's 14 million alternate universes. In quite a few of those, I'd say over half of those, Moonshine Mantell is main eventing WrestleMania and SummerSlam because he's just got that look. So I especially love his look now. My dude comes out, Moonshine's a big Texas guy.
Yes,
He's from Texas. I don't know if you noticed or not, but Moonshine comes out in that black leather vest, like another Texas wrestler, and I love it, dude, because it looks So
got that,
like
got that longhorn on his tights every once in a while.
Yep. I'm the guy in the crowd that's telling Moonshine he sucks, telling Moonshine to go home, throwing up the middle finger at him. But I am, do you call it kayfabe? I wouldn't call it kayfabe, but I'll pull the curtain back. I'm a humongous Moonshine Mantell fan, and I am super excited to watch these two beat the shit out of each other. Absolutely. So, main event time. This has got a story to it, man. A story that doesn't just stop. A story that doesn't just stop. Don't you dare compare Moonshine to that wrestler. I mean, Brian J. Bebe. I think being. Oh, you're talking about the wrestler that wears the black vest from Texas. Okay. I thought he was talking about Brock Lesnar. I was going to say being compared to an NCAA Division I national champion is kind of a compliment in my eye, but you're talking about that, Raz. Okay. That's fair. I don't think anybody should be compared to him. Anyways, main event time. This story goes back a little bit more than just Rise of an Outlaw. So for those that don't know, Jeremy Wyatt came up with the victory against Mike Outlaw in the opening match. Jeremy Wyatt said he wasn't done. Said that he was good to go for another match. Said that anybody in the back could come out and challenge him. And through the crowd, wearing an all elite wrestling hoodie, was none other than Ace Steel, one of the original Second City Saints, also former stable member of Jeremy Wyatt, and
the
Foundation with Michael Strider as well.
Yep.
And Jeremy Wyatt was just as shocked as we were to see Ace Steel. And Ace was like, hey, you're looking for somebody to challenge for the championship. I'm right here. I want to challenge for it. And, Jeremy told him, he said, you're going to regret that. And Jeremy made sure he did. So in the match, Vic Capri, who's another Chicago native, who's a very good wrestler, but has aligned himself, like we talked about with, on the other side of the world.
Are we talking about 5'3" Vic Capri?
We are talking about 5'3" Vic Capri.
All right.
And he's actually 5'5", according to him, or I don't remember what he told Dak, but anyways, Vic Capri came out, and him and Jeremy Wyatt did a number on Ace Steel. Obviously, Jeremy Wyatt laid out an open challenge. Out of respect, guys face each other in the middle of the ring all the time. But you didn't have to go and attack him. You didn't have to double spike pile drive him. You didn't have to do all that. So that long history of being stable members and friends. There's pictures. I mean, like, if we're gonna pull the curtain back here, there's pictures on Facebook of Vic Capri, or not Vic Capri, but Ace Steel and Jeremy Wyatt and Michael Strider in street clothes having drinks. This isn't just, hey, we're partners and we go home at the end of the day. These are friends. And Jeremy Wyatt made it a little personal. So, as Jeremy Wyatt would.
Always does.
I don't expect anything less from the scum of the earth. So, Ace called in the Enforcer. Where else could he look? The Enforcer, Arn Anderson. And Arn has taught his son very well, and taught him to put spine on the pine, like like one of my favorite commentators of all time, Jim Ross, would say. And Brock Anderson and Ace Steel are going to go toe-to-toe with 5'3" Vic Capri and Jeremy Wyatt. And I am super excited to be there. Sitting next to my good friend Josh, watching Brock Anderson and Ace Steel beat the ever-living shit out of Jeremy Wyatt and 5'3" Vic Capri. So, little bit of story there, guys. Like I said, it's not just a simple run-in title match from last month. Like I said, there's a little bit of depth to this. So, very, very excited.
Yeah, I couldn't. We're gonna be in the same building, at the same table as Arn Anderson, Brock Anderson, AEW. We're gonna be there as Ace Steel. You were already there, and then to see, I know they're scum. I know they're a disease, but Jeremy Wyatt, DWF champion. I mean, he, as Brian said, yes, he's a pain in the ass, but he's damn good in the ring. When that bell rings, he turns it on. I can't wait to see it. Brock's a damn good wrestler. We've seen him in AEW. We've seen him, multiple matches on AEW television. So I can't wait to see these guys, beat the shit out of each other. And as you said, cannot wait for Brock and Ace to shut Jeremy Wyatt and Vic Capri up, especially Jeremy Wyatt. Dude just won't shut his mouth. No matter where he goes.
Yep. And I will say, like I said, we dog on Jeremy a lot on this show, but I will give the devil his due. I thought there was no way on God's green earth that Jeremy Wyatt walked out of Rise of an Outlaw with that DWF champion. In fact, I sat here and asked Strider. I told Strider, I said, hey, all these pay-per-view names, tend to tell a story and have to do with the event. And I go, is Rise of an Outlaw, are we going to see something? And God, man, flat out in the middle of the ring, Jeremy Wyatt, DWF champion still. So
kept it.
Yep.
He kept it. So who knows, there's no telling who's going to take that off them. Obviously this is a tag match. So maybe in September, at their September event, if they have one. If not, it'll be October. But we may see a little bit more of Mr. Wyatt as the DWF champion.
Absolutely, this is going to be a fantastic event. You are 1,000% right, Brian.
Yeah.
Cannot
Man,
wait.
we just interviewed Brock Anderson.
We didn't just interview him, but
we didn't just. We just aired it finally. Yeah. You guys don't know, like when we found out when this was happening, that we were actually going to get an interview with Brock Anderson. Like, it took all we could to hold it in and not immediately announce it. Like, that's how we're extremely, we've been wrestling fans for pretty much our whole lives. And
I told Mark when we did the the AEW post Dynamite show, I told Mark, and Mark was like, "Oh, when can I watch it?" And I was like, "Not for a while." I go, "But we're gonna record it tomorrow." And he was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So
I was walking around telling people at work, like, you know, who don't really watch wrestling. I'm like, you guys know who Ric Flair and Arn Anderson is, right? Yeah. All right. Well, you know, just to tell somebody.
Yeah.
So
because you want to post it on social media, but you were like, "Damn, I can't do it yet." But
Yep.
it was tons of fun, man. Like I said, it was he was a super cool dude, and you know, did not, you know, was very respectful. You know, I could go for another hour talking about how cool that interview with Brock Anderson was. So, what I will tell you is we are damn near close to the end of this, and I appreciate all of our viewers on Twitch sticking with us. If you guys do not know, CR Media goes live 4 nights a week. The I-70 hot tag has been so busy lately. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. One of my many viewers. So CR Media goes live 4 nights a week. I should say 3 because technically 1 is kind of off and on, but we are a little busy right now. But Monday nights you will catch us at the I-70 hot tag pit stop. It's our second show for the I-70 hot tag, just because when Josh and I very first started doing the I-70 hot tag, we thought, oh yeah, there's like 4, 5, maybe 6 companies that we can kind of dive into and get into. And since starting this, the idea was to put over Kansas and Missouri independent professional wrestling. And we have found out, Josh has a spreadsheet of all the ones we know about.
And there's still some we haven't even mentioned yet. There's over 15 so far that we've discovered since starting this. And like Chase said, you know, we went into this, you know, the big ones that we were going to cover. 17. All right.
17.
More than I know.
I mean,
so, way more, Brian. Way more.
We were wrong.
We had,
17 that we know of.
Yeah, that we know of. I was talking to somebody, that's in the St. Louis area who's actually going to be going to Glory Pro the same night we're going. So we might meet up with them. But we haven't announced it yet. We're going to Glory Pro in September, just so you guys know. Yeah. It's a September event.
My first time going to St. Louis for a wrestling event. I'm very excited.
Yeah, same here. But I was talking to him, and I was like, man, we started this podcast, and we were going to cover the one or the 2 in St. Louis, and little did I know there's like 5 or 6 just in St. Louis. Yeah. So yeah, this and it's great because we're seeing a bunch of fantastic up and coming young professional wrestlers that are learning the craft, trying to get better, and we just couldn't do it in just one show, guys. We're sitting here. Obviously, we're focusing mainly on Horsemen Country tonight, but there's so many great companies out there across both states that we want to make sure that we're putting over just as much. So that's why we had to make the pit stop. Anyway,
so we made the pit stop for Monday night. Then on Tuesday night, for all you football fans and especially you Kansas City fans, I co-host a show called the Arrowhead Asylum, formerly known as James House Chiefs Talk. It's a late night. We talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. We talk about NFL football, and we just love having fun and kind of doing the same thing we do on here. We got the chat, we get viewers involved, all that good stuff. On Wednesday nights, my friend Mark, aka Pro Wrestling Kingpin, we go live about 15 minutes after Dynamite to kind of break down the show and talk about what happened on Dynamite. And then on Thursday nights, the I-70 hot tag. So if you are watching on Twitch, just know that you have once you've hit that follow button, you have 4 nights of CR Media content to keep up with. So definitely greatly appreciate those tuning in and those follows. Josh.
Yes, sir.
I think we've got some upcoming events we want to talk about.
Yes, sir. We got other than Horsemen Country, August 27th. Yep. But before that,
Camelot,
guys,
Camelot Ballroom.
Camelot Ballroom. Yep. CSWtickets.com. Time to
do a Friday show.
Yeah, you go. I mentioned that to him on his Wednesday or Tuesday Chiefs show. They started talking about college football, and I said, "There's your opening to do a Friday college football podcast, Chase." So only 2 more days left, and you can just have 7 days a week like Conrad Thompson.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, guys, a lot of good stuff coming in August. We got a company called United Underground Championship Wrestling, UUCW. They're holding an event in Wichita, Kansas. The Premier P-Boys are going to be in action against the Russell Twins. Have not seen the Russell Twins wrestle in person before, but from the comments on their post, that's going to be a fantastic tag team match. So should be great. Hopefully we'll be able to actually watch that event if they post it. YouTube, Twitch, not sure. But UUCW's in Wichita on the 13th. Also on the 13th, another company that's been making its rounds into Southern Missouri, Mid-States Wrestling. It's going to be in Springfield. Your boy, Moonshine Mantell, is going to be there. As well as Luke Langley. Beer City Bruiser is going to be there. One of the matches I wanted to highlight was Miranda Gordy is going to be taking on Kelsey Magnolia, which I did just find out by talking to Niles last week. Kelsey is a part of Niles' school that he the training school for wrestling. So Kelsey is a part of that. I saw a couple pictures of her.
Oh yeah, that's cool. So because we also found out that Miranda is his life partner as well.
Yeah. You know, I was going to say something.
Wasn't too hard to figure out because anytime Niles Planquet is on the billing, Miranda Gordy is not very far behind. So
no. This goes back a couple of years, and we noticed that well before we interviewed Niles, and then yeah. So anyway, that kind of fell into place. But so yeah, guys, Mid-States in Springfield. So if you're in Springfield, go check them out. August 20th, Premier Independent Wrestling presents Aftermath. That's the one that Matt Cross is going to be there. It's happening in Lawrence, Kansas. Shailin, who I have not seen, our
friend
Dave Houston. Dean Houston, yeah. Dean Houston. He is not, at least he's not commented yet. Shailin is going to be there taking on Luna Nightshade. So should be a hell of a match there. And then August 20th as well. So 2 on the 13th, 2 on the 20th. WrestleMax St. Louis presents episode 8. And that's the one with the Fatal 4-Way. Marco Stunt taking on Camaro Jackson, Mike Outlaw, and Darian Bengston. So that should be a hell of a Fatal 4-Way match there. So we have not covered or talked about St. Louis WrestleMax or WrestleMax St. Louis yet. So should be interesting there. I think that's we talked about that last week. That's the one that Todd Letterman. He doesn't go by Todd Letterman anymore, but Todd Letterman is what his name was in NWL. He is the promoter, owner of WrestleMax. So Brian might be able to correct me on that. I'm not sure what his real name is, but it was Letterman. So,
gotcha.
What do we got coming up in the next couple episodes of the podcast?
Yeah, so on the pit stop on Monday, we've got the Beer City Bruiser. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then next week's episode of the I-70 Hot Tag is going to be Billy Starks. So for those that don't know, Billy is a super young and amazingly talented young female who is making her way around the country. I've seen her in all sorts of different stuff. So she is not a staple in Kansas City, but she has spent some time in St. Louis and Journey, and so very, very excited to sit down with her. and chit chat with her. So,
right. Just yes, Weekend at Journeys is happening on the 26th. We just want to promote a couple events. We don't want to go too terribly far into the future. We could say KCXW in October. So, we just want to cover the next 3 or 4 events, and then next week Journey will be on our rundown. So, but yes, Journey Pro Weekend at Journeys is happening on August 26th.
Very, very cool play on words. For those that don't remember, the very, very popular, or at least very popular to me, growing up, 80s movie Weekend at Bernie's. So,
Yep.
Other than that, we already went over the social medias. I know we usually close out with that, but again, appreciate you guys sticking with us. Appreciate you guys hanging out. That watch along was kind of fun.
It was, man. I liked it.
I did. We might do that sometime. Maybe an event.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you what. I might throw this at you offline. I won't put you on the spot on here because I'll throw it to you offline. We'll do that. But yeah, guys. 17th episode, Josh. The last
17.
Dude, this is the most consistent thing in my life. I don't even change my underwear 17 days in a row. So to do something for 17 consecutive weeks, this is pretty awesome, man. Having a blast.
It's been fun, man. This is extremely exciting, man. This is something, we talked about this at the very beginning. You and I, what was it? In the 2000s, we did a podcast.
2005 or 2000. Birdie, when was the W? When was the W? Was it WAW or was it
WWA or
WWA? Yeah. When was the WWA?
It was
radio
pre-podcast, guys. Podcasts were not the word podcast did not exist yet.
Yep.
And
because
the
iPhone wasn't out.
No, it was all flip phones. It was all, I don't even know if the Razor or the. Anyway, we did it on Windows audio recorder. We could only record one minute at a time. So we had to stop, and we had like 30 or 50 audio clips that we just put all into. It was terrible, but guys, we did a podcast before podcasts were a thing. So this has been super fun, and I'm glad that we're able to do this with you guys.
Been something we've always wanted to do, and now that we're doing it, we're having a blast doing it. So,
yes, sir.
Absolutely, Birdie. Yeah, great memories. It was awesome. For those that don't know what e-feds were, we used to run those bitches. So
yes, we did. And up until about 6 months ago, I was still in one. So
it's a bold strategy for you to admit that on.
All good. We sit around and talk about pro wrestling. I can sit around and talk about being an e-fed. I don't care.
That's all right. All right, guys. As usual, appreciate you guys joining. Appreciate everything you do. Do not forget to go buy your tickets. CSWtickets.com or CSW.simpletix.com. I can't remember if that's the other one, but Josh has it right there on the screen. Get your tickets to Horsemen Country. In the special instructions, tell them your boy CR Media Chase and the real Josh Elliott at the I-70 Hot Tag sent you. I'm sure they'll love to see that. Be like, read one of them and go, what the fuck? Right. Again, guys, for CR Media, my name is Chase. This is my colleague, my co-host, my friend, my confidant, Josh, the real Josh Elliott. This has been the I-70 Hot Tag, and good fight and good night.